So how to build more self-trust? This is a question I get asked a lot. Like, how do I learn how to trust myself? Because I don't right now. I have been there so many times. And there's a really simple, not necessarily easy, but simple tool that you can utilize that will be very, very life enhancing. So here it is. So anytime you make a promise to yourself and you don't keep it, that's when you learn to distrust yourself. So what we need to do, what really is helpful, is to say, okay, I'm gonna start making really small but doable promises to myself. Example, so when I wake up, I'm gonna promise myself that I'm gonna meditate for 5 minutes. Not 30, not an hour, but 5. I can do 5. But if I say I'm gonna meditate for an hour every day for the rest of my life, and then I don't do it, then I'm breaking my promise to myself, and I start to lose trust in myself. Same thing with anybody else, right? If somebody promised you something and they don't keep their promise, you don't trust them anymore. It's the same thing with ourselves. So this one tool can be so life elevating and enhancing, and I really, really, really can't wait to hear how it works for you guys. And again, just start small. And what I love to talk about is tiny habit creation, because so many times we talk about like doing the big thing and it's overwhelming because it feels like there's so much to do that you feel stuck and overwhelmed and frustrated and confused, and you don't end up doing anything. So don't do that. But what you can do is do tiny habit creation. So what this is, I saw a TED Talk and it was so powerful, it was so life-changing, and I've been utilizing it and seeing the difference it's made in my life, and I keep sharing it with everybody because it's so freaking powerful. Okay, so get this. Link a tiny habit to something else you already do. So example, every time I walk in the door, I'm gonna do X. Or every time I wash my hands, I'm gonna do X. Every time I wake up out of bed, I'm gonna do X. So make sure and link it to something you're already doing. So another incredible example was a man, his habit that he was unconscious of was he would go to the couch. Every time he'd walk in the door, he'd go to the couch and just start watching TV. Well, that tiny habit didn't do that much to create a really awesome family environment, right? His family didn't feel so loved and supported when he'd walk in the door and go to the couch. And he started talking about how his family life was just not very good. So he made this one small change that every time he walked in the door, he went and kissed his wife. So every time he walked in the door, kissed his wife. He just got in the habit of doing that. And that one simple thing saved his marriage. Because that, again, the compound effect is so real. It's the small things we do over time that make the biggest difference in our life. And it really does create who we are. So really start to take a good look at your daily habits, your thoughts, your patterns, your routines, and realize that that is what's making up who you are. It's not even about the big things. And I would challenge you to even forget about the big goals and the big dreams. Like, have them, have vision boards, have dream boards, write out your goals, and then kind of forget about them. And just focus on the daily actions that you take. And a mantra that I say that helps me so much every day is I forget about outcome. Because outcome is out of my control. The only thing I can control is, did I take action? So I remind myself when I feel fear, when I feel doubt, when I feel afraid, or when I feel overwhelmed, and just said, did I take action? If I take action, I win. And then I learned to trust myself because I'm taking that small action that's leading to the big compound effect that over time makes the biggest difference. I mean, I don't even recognize my life from a couple years ago. You know, a couple years ago, I was severely struggling financially. I could barely figure out how to pay my bills. I was in a toxic relationship, and I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I was so terrified, and it sucked. Like, it was so hard every day, and I would get anxious and I would feel anxiety like crazy because you just feel like, especially when it's financial struggles or relationship struggles, you feel like the whole world is caving in on you. And so what really helped me was just to focus on the small daily actions. You know, when I would feel the fear and anxiety of like, oh, I don't know what to do, how am I going to get out of this hole that I feel like I've dug for myself, is I would just do the brave thing. You know, I just did the disruptive thing, and I would just say, it doesn't matter the outcome. All that matters is that if I take action, I win. If I keep my small promises to myself on a daily basis, and remember that it's the small things that I do every day that make the biggest difference. That is what creates who I am and how I experience the world around me. So I really hope this helps you guys. I would love to know what your small, tiny habit creation is, and what like the small promises that you can start keeping to yourself, and then realize how you start to trust yourself, and that self-trust turns into self-love and self-confidence because you're actually listening to yourself. You're telling that deeper part of you, that inner voice, that yes, you do matter. Yes, I do want to listen to you. And this is just one tip. If you guys want more, there's so many other like practical and powerful tips that I can give you on how to build more self-trust, self-love, and self-confidence so that you can go create the awesome life that I feel like we all deserve to live. So please let me know if you want more like this. I have so many more I would love to share with you. Just comment and question below. I really want to hear from you. And please just share this. You know, this one thing, this one idea could seriously change somebody's life forever. So please just help me share this message so that we can create a ripple effect of empowerment. So we can create a ripple effect of empowerment. So much love, guys.